get ready for one of the most important videos you'll be watching as an artist. In the next few minutes you'll learn everything you need to know about composition, like focal points, balance, adding contrast through color, shape, value, activity or focus, using leading lines, the rule of thirds, symmetry, the golden ratio, and more. Let's get started right away. So, what's composition? Simply put, composition is a term that is used to describe the way visual elements in an artwork are arranged. This can be a painting, drawing, photo, or other piece of artwork. The famous painter Henri Matisse once said, "Composition is the art of arranging in a decorative manner the diverse elements at the painter's command to express his feelings." So, why is composition important when it comes to art? As an artist, there is a decent chance you want to tell a story or send a message through your art. Or perhaps you just want to relax the viewer or give the viewer a sense of excitement. When telling a story, it is important that your story is readable, like a book. It's hard to read a book in which the words are all scrambled or in which the chapters are all placed in random order. So how do you make the story in your artwork readable? That's where composition comes into play. A good composition is a pleasing arrangement of shapes, colors, and values. It's something you can probably manage quite decently intuitively. But if you want your artwork to stand out and be sure that the story in your artwork is readable, then you can take it a step further and use the power of composition to your advantage. Let's compare composition to a book again. The book will have a main character and it will have a genre. In the world of art, we'll call these the focal point and the balance. The focal point, or main character of the story, is the point towards which the eye of the viewer will automatically get drawn. The artwork will also have an amount of balance or imbalance, which will contribute to the mood in a painting. Imbalance will cause a sense of tension, while a balanced painting will feel more calm. The balance and focal point always work together to tell the story in an artwork. Let's dive into the subject of focal points first. How can you direct the viewer's eye towards your desired focal point? You can do this by using contrast, faces, and guiding lines. Adding contrast to guide the eye to the focal point can be done in different ways, using color and saturation, for example. By using a contrasting color for your focal point, you can really make your subject stand out. But you could also add contrast by giving the focal point a more saturated color than the surrounding elements. Take this image by Nathan Fawkes, for instance. You can see how he made use of cool and warm colors to guide the eye. The warm colors of the building at the top of the hill and the warm colors behind Puss in Boots will attract the viewer's eye because they are contrasting against the cool colors of the surroundings. Or what do you think of this painting? The red clearly pops out. It helps that red is the complementary color of green. The dome is also standing out because of the shape. The round shape of the dome contrasts against the more angular shape surrounding it. Using shape is another way to let your focal point stand out. You just saw that a round shape in the middle of angular shapes will attract attention. You can also clearly see that in this image by Ross Tran. Your eye immediately gets drawn to the lady because of her round umbrella amongst all those angular shapes. Another way to let your focal point attract the attention of your viewer is by using values. With values we mean how dark or light an element is. By giving the focal point a different range of values, you can make it stand out against the other elements in your artwork. In this image by Bobby Chu, you can see how he made use of contrast. The eyes of the monster create a spotlight on the little boy, making the focal area lighter than the surroundings. The viewer's eye will go to the boy and monster looking at him and will be guided towards the demon lady on the back of the monster next. And do you see how the viewer's eye gets guided back to the bed again? Or check this piece by Alex Flores. Notice how your eye gets drawn to the lightest place here. It might sound a bit strange, but you can also make a subject stand out through activity. Perhaps your subject is standing amongst a group of dancing subjects. Speed can also make a subject stand out. Someone running through a crowd, for instance, will definitely pull the attention of the viewer. Look at this painting by Degas. You immediately notice the man standing still because of his relatively stiff pose compared to the rehearsing ballerinas. There is contrast in activity here. You can naturally make a subject stand out by literally focusing on it. Make your focal point in focus and make the surroundings blurry to achieve a contrast between focus and blur. Photographers achieve this effect by playing with their aperture, for instance. See how artist Bo Chen plays with this by focusing on the lady on the rooftop and making her surroundings more blurry. As a viewer, you immediately understand what the main focus of this painting is. You can see the same in this image by Alex Flores. There isn't just a contrast in focus here, but also in color and shapes. The warmth of the light in the face, but also the rounder shapes, stand out against the surroundings. So we've covered contrast as a way to guide the eye of your viewer. There are many ways to use contrast in your paintings to make your subject stand out, and you saw that artists use multiple ways to achieve this contrast. Besides contrasting subjects, the viewer's eye will also be naturally drawn to faces. So, a visible face in a crowd, for instance, will naturally draw the focus. Finally, a way to guide your viewer towards the main character of your story is by using guiding lines. The viewer will naturally follow the lines in an artwork. You can use this to your advantage. It will help steer your viewer's eye towards your focal point. See how in this painting all the guiding lines are pointing towards the stag. It's not just the spears that are pointing towards it, but also the lines of sight of the characters in the painting. And what do you think of this painting by Bo Chen? Everything is clearly pointing towards the main character in the middle. Now we've covered how to get the focus in your story towards your main character, or even to some supporting characters by using contrast, faces, and guiding lines. Make sure you don't add too many focal points to your artwork though. This will make the artwork lose impact and confuse the viewer. Imagine reading a book with 20 main characters. It's hard to keep track and get to know all these characters, right? Your story doesn't just have a main character or a couple of characters. Your story also has a genre or mood. You can partly set the mood by creating a balance or imbalance in your artwork. A good construction of your artwork can create balance or imbalance in your artwork. A slight imbalance can give your artwork more appeal, a sense of interest. There are different rules of construction, though you shouldn't see them as rules, but as guides. These rules or guides include the rule of thirds, the golden ratio, centered composition, symmetry, and golden triangles. These can help you make an image that is pleasing to the eye. Let's start with the rule of thirds. I think you might already know it. The rule of thirds divides the frame in 9 parts like this. Placing your focal point in one of these 4 spots will help to make your artwork pleasing to the eye. It creates a slight imbalance because the focal point is placed off-center. You can see how the rule of thirds was used in this painting. Check how the umbrella is directly on one of the lines. The golden ratio is another rule that is used by artists to make aesthetically pleasing artworks. The golden ratio is found everywhere in nature and even in the human body. Artists like Hokusai made use of the golden ratio, as you can see here in this painting of the Great Wave. Using symmetry and centered composition may seem a lot less complicated than the golden ratio, but can also look very pleasing to the eye. It creates a sense of calm and balance to your artwork. Lastly, let's look at the golden triangles, which are closely related to the golden ratio. Using the golden triangles as a guide can help make your artwork look naturally pleasing to the eye. Finally, A way to add more drama to your story and make it more dynamic is by shifting the horizon. Look at this painting and how the shifted horizon adds to the drama. Let's compare it to a straight horizon. It looks a lot less dramatic, right? That's composition in art in a nutshell. Enjoyed this video? Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave your thoughts in the comment section. I'd really appreciate that. Now go on and write that book, make that artwork, and tell that story. Looking forward to reading it.